Hey, what's going on, everybody? Vince here from the Garmin Group. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Life on the Ave. Patrick, what are we at right now? 84. Fred X. Freddie Mitchell. 84. Yeah, he was the guy. But sitting down here, we're continuing on with our theme of celebrities. Sitting down with one of my favorite Delaware celebrities, Mr. Paul Ogden.
Celebrity. That's interesting.
Yeah, so Mr. Paul, thanks so much for coming on to the show today. So we start off by giving you your flowers. So, reading a little bio. We took a little bit of this from your Out and About article, but a little bio on, tough to put into a couple paragraphs who Paul Ogden is, but we'll give it our best shot. So with over 42 years of experience in the bar industry, Paul Ogden has built an impressive legacy, owning and operating 35 plus bars across the region. One of his most iconic establishments, Famous Joe's, is set to celebrate its 15th anniversary this June. Paul began his career at the Logan House in 1982, kicking off what would become a lifelong passion for hospitality and entrepreneurship. Born and raised in Wilmington, Delaware, he comes from a tight-knit family of 5 brothers. He's also the proud father of Jack, a junior at Southern Methodist University in Dallas, Texas. A proud Wilmington native, Paul Ogden attended Christ Our King for grade school and went on to St. Mark's for high school and later graduated from the University of Delaware. His father, a longtime officer with the Wilmington Police Department, who is sadly no longer with us. His mother is 98 years old and continues to be a strong influence in his life. Join us as we dive into Paul's journey, the highs and lows of running a successful bar business, and the personal stories that have shaped his career and life. I don't know who wrote that. Cole wrote that? What do you think? How was that? Was that okay?
It was very good.
So my first question to you, off screen, we were just talking about a couple of famous Navy SEALs, and one of them is Jocko. I have Good tattooed. There's a nice video that Jocko has about Good. Have you ever seen it?
I have not.
It's a famous one. It's famous. But basically what the essence is of it is hey, if anything, whatever happens to you in life, as long as you can say the word good, means you're still alive, means you still, got some fight left in you. So get back up, dust off, reload, re-engage, and go back out on the hunt. And so I want to start this off. Wilmington, especially this neighborhood, and I think Wilmington in general, we got some fighters. So the first time that I remember actually meeting you was after you got in a little tussle with Mr. Antonio Diascanis,
yes.
Black Ops in Rockford. So
thank God he didn't kill me. and I went back and told him, thank God you didn't kill me.
Yeah, but that's one of my big things that happens in life. And also, by the way, we have full editing capability. So if you say anything, you're hey, don't put that in there, we can put that in there. But we're just we go gloves off. So we go bare knuckle here. We go gloves off.
I'm good with that. I have 5 brothers.
Yep, exactly. So growing up with 5 brothers, I know that there were some tussles. Paul is a good friend, good mentor of mine. My daughter's going through a little behavioral change. She's spreading her wings a little bit, and I called Mr. Paul for some advice, and he gave me some great advice last week. But that's what life is. Life is a fight, and confrontation, I think, is good if you come about it in a respectful manner, and everything. So you're definitely a guy who, just from the looks of it, you've been in a tussle or two, a time or two here and there.
Oh, more than one.
Yeah, more than one. And Wilmington, I think this neighborhood likes to fight a lot, and the city a little bit. So how is fighting the good fight shaped Mr. Paul Ogden's life?
Just so you know that it's not in my bio. In 1983, I bought my first house on Lincoln Street, right across the street from Kitchelines.
Love it. Great spot.
For $14,000.
Nice.
Interest rates were 18%, and you had to put 20% down.
Were you nervous stroking that check?
No.
I asked my grandfather, when he bought his first house for $30,000, and he was scared to stroke his check. And my Italian great grandfather said, if you don't stroke that check, I'm going to stroke it and you'll pay me rent. And he goes, okay, I'll sign it. Yeah.
Well, I think the difference was I was single and was already in business for myself. And even though $14,000 was a lot of money back then,
yep.
I could have paid for it instead of getting the mortgage. But somebody told me wiser than me that I had to build credit.
There you go.
So
nice.
That's why I bought my first house.
Love it.
So now it's a parking lot for Audi. They ripped the house down. But that's where I started.
Were you the little yellow house, the one that they just ripped down?
I was the little yellow house.
That was a notorious house, like very early on at the start of my real estate career. So that got torn down in like 2017. Yeah.
I paid 14, and it really started me off with some nice money. Within a year, I sold it for $49,000 and bought my second house, which was much nicer. But I got the money from selling that house.
Love that.
So, and every time I've bought a house, it's always increased. And as you know, I recently just moved again, and from this neighborhood, from Woodlawn Avenue, and it went up almost $200,000 in 3 years.
Yeah. I love that.
So it was a good investment for me.
Nice. Yeah. I think like a lot. I do my best to model some of the things that I really appreciate about you. Number one, I definitely think that you're a risk taker. I definitely think, the bar industry takes a certain type of individual. And since I've known you since like 2018, you've bought and sold like 5 or 6 houses. So
built,
yeah. So you definitely keep it moving and shaking on the real estate side. And then just as like an entrepreneur and an owner, like I'm huge with Mary Kate and the rest of these guys. Like, hey, the marketing budget, we need to be reinvesting back into the business. And, saw you a couple weeks ago for the Super Bowl, and you're buying 4 TVs to give away to everyone coming to your bar. You're buying swag and T-shirts, Famous Joe's. Constantly. You're just giving it away. And that investment in the business, people show up, they get, a $5, $10 T-shirt, but they're spending a $40, $50 bar tab minimum per person. Yeah.
Correct. And then they're wearing my gear.
Yes. Yeah.
Over and over again.
And they're walking billboards. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the TVs were a cool thing. So I wanted to do something for Super Bowl, since you brought it up. And I didn't want, everybody else does drink specials or food specials. I'm like, everybody does that.
Yeah.
So I went to Best Buy. I was going to buy one.
Yep.
The 65 inches were on sale for $199. And I said, let's buy 4.
Yeah.
Give one away a quarter, which you didn't have to buy. There was no raffle ticket, anything. You just came in, you got a ticket on it.
Really?
No cost.
Love that.
As long as you bought a drink or a beer.
$800.
As long as you were a customer. So it was not a winner for me, by the way. I didn't make so much more because to cover that $800 cost, I couldn't make enough to pay that back.
Yeah.
I mean, in profit-wise.
Yeah.
But think about the 4 people who won them. How many people are they going to tell?
Everybody that they run in contact with, from now until Easter, probably.
When you win something, you tell people about it.
Yes.
So for me, that was a long-term investment, just like the T-shirts are.
Yep.
You don't pay for the T-shirts. We give them away.
Yeah.
You can't buy any Famous Tavern gear. We give it away. And the reason why we do that is, how can I charge a customer who comes in 2-3 times a week, comes in all the time?
Yep.
How can I tell them, you got to buy a $10 T-shirt?
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
So we give them away. We do special events. The Super Bowl, when the Eagles have their runs, we do an ugly T-shirt at Christmas.
Yeah.
Certain things a year, we do give away T-shirts. And we always give away 100 for the first 100 customers.
I love that.
So we've probably given away, in the last 15 years, 10,000 T-shirts.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I have a ton, especially from that 2018 Super Bowl run. You were giving away like hotcakes.
We had a different one every week for that run.
Yeah, you were giving away like hotcakes there.
Yeah.
And funny enough, shout out my best friend Dan Belk, his wife. They live in the Lehigh Valley. Her night sleeping shirt is Rockford Tavern.
The opening?
Paul Ogden. Either the opening or first birthday party or whatever, of it. So she still rocks it like 7 years later. It's her favorite shirt.
One of my favorite bars, by the way. Still.
Yeah.
Still.
I love that. So hopping into the bar industry. So you definitely have a unique business model to your bars. Do you want to give away your secrets?
Sure.
Tell people your secrets? Yeah. So what is your secrets?
So my business model
running this,
is first you got, as in real estate, you got to have a good location. And I got to have a good neighborhood around it.
Yep.
Because most of my customers live within 1 mile of my place. So basically what Famous Taverns is, is basically the corner bar that was in every city. Mm-hmm. Just a corner bar, no food, just for the neighbors to walk over.
Yep.
And I took that model and moved it to suburban because people moved out of the cities. So I started in North Wilmington. I did 2 places in North Wilmington. Then I did one in Ogletown, Stanton area. Then I did one in Pike Creek, and so on and so forth, and ended up building, I think, 12 or 13 of them. And then people started approaching me to buy them.
Yeah.
So just like you may do or other people do, flip houses, I started flipping bars. And that's basically, I'm a bar owner, restaurant owner, whatever you want to call it. But basically, I'm really just a promoter who promotes my businesses. And then I build them, sell them, and flip them, because a lot of people want to be in business, but they don't know how to go through the steps to form a corporation, to negotiate a lease, to know what to design, to know what equipment to buy. But if you buy one of my places, I basically give you the playbook. Yeah. So I'd say I think I'm up to 38. And I was counting before I came in here. Out of the 38, I believe 34 of them are still in business.
That's awesome.
So for a 42-year career, and most of them, with the exception of Logan House and Milltown Tavern, all the other ones were new. They weren't, I created them.
Yeah, that's a 90% success rate, 34 out of 38, yeah.
Well, and so I want my buyers of these places to succeed and make money. And to have 34 of them up still running and throughout Newcastle County, that's pretty good.
I love that. I'm like, you don't need to overcomplicate it. It's simple. Yeah. KISS method, right? Yeah. Keep it simple, stupid. So it's the KISS method. Not saying it's easy, not saying it's terribly hard, but you just got to keep it simple. And here's, the steps to go ahead and work through. So one of those steps that I believe in, that I'm interested in, and it may just be a simple answer, but how did you come up with the names? Like the famous portion of it.
I'll tell you exactly.
Is awesome. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you exactly how I came up with that. I was sitting at dinner at Pizzas by Elizabeth's one night. And I love
Shout out Toots.
Yeah. I know Betsy really well. She married a good friend of mine, Ben Leroy, from the Snap, who played in my bars forever.
Yep.
And I loved how she named all the pizzas after. Her name is Elizabeth, and she started it with a woman named Betty Snyder, and they were both Elizabeths.
Yep.
And that's how Pizzas by Elizabeth came back. Yeah, and I'm like, this is really cool. I like it. So my son was Jack. So the first one was Famous Jack's. So basically what we did was we opened Famous Jack's and we put on the walls, because when you build a bar, you need stuff on the walls.
Yep.
So we got pictures of all famous people named Jack.
Love it.
So when we built Famous Joe is a brother of mine. And the reason why Joe was picked first was because we Googled all my brother's name, and there was more famous people named Joe than any of the other brothers' names.
Yeah.
So that's why there was no rhyme or reason to it. The next after Joe's was Jim.
Yeah.
Because there's a ton of famous Jims. And so at first it looked like we were doing, everything was FJT, famous Jims, famous Joes, famous Jacks. And it was kind of cool that we did that. But then I built 3 so fast and they took off. Well, I had to start using, now other brothers wants their names.
Yeah.
So then we did Tom's, then we did Tim's, and then we did Pat's. And Pat's pretty funny because Pat's the youngest, so he got last.
Yeah.
And then my dad was John, so we did John. Then I had a very good friend of mine who died of cancer, we played Little League together.
Yep.
Also from this neighborhood.
Love
Big
it.
family named Carr. Michael Carr passed away of cancer. So after I ran out of brothers' names, to honor my friend, we opened Famous Mike's, which was next to Anthony's Coal Fire Pizza in Pike Creek.
Love it.
And that's now the Cork and Barrel, I believe it's
nice.
Called.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we've been to Cork and Barrel a time or two. So, Yeah. I remember. So like, I'm not originally from Delaware, and good family friends. My dad's best friend from high school is Warren Ellis. So Warren and Robin Ellis, and they
know him very well.
Yeah. They're out there. So the Nitchie family.
All customers forever.
Oh, all customers forever.
Those girls were getting in my bars with fake IDs before they were even 21.
Yeah. So I remember the first one I ever went to. Mary Kate and I were like fresh starting dating, like very early on in our relationship, was out there in Pike Creek with. Anthony's. Yeah. So how did the BYOF come about?
So I did one,
because we were just talking about an entrepreneur who's getting tripped up with, what he's got going on.
I did a restaurant once, and I really fast found out I didn't want to be in the restaurant business. Mm-hmm. So food is a very difficult thing, and anybody who's in the restaurant business lives that business.
Yes.
I did not want to be in my business 24/7.
I've never had the pleasure of working in like a service industry like food, but a lot of these guys have, and like, God bless them, because yes. I can't do it. We're good friends with Antimo at Bardea. Like, there's no way I could do that.
None. They work way too long. Mm-hmm. The hours are way too long. Things go bad. So in my business, if I make you a drink that doesn't taste right, it costs me 50 cents or $1 and we throw it away. But if I make you a $20 steak at my cost, and I got to throw that steak away, I lost $20. Now I lost my, even, and I got to cook you another steak.
Exactly.
So I lost more money.
Yeah.
So we have no management. Mm-hmm. So I'm the manager. Now technology allowed me to grow. Without technology, I could not have done it. Without cameras in the bars, without POS systems tracking the inventory, we couldn't have grown the way we grew. Because then we'd have had to have levels of management. The other thing that's great about my thing that we built is that we're a low-cost provider. Mm-hmm. There's nobody has drinks and beers cheaper than we do. And the reason why we're able to do that is because we have no management. Mm-hmm. So I hire people that are smart and intelligent and loyal. So Vince is a bartender. I teach Vince, if something goes wrong at 10 o'clock at night, don't call me, make a decision. Mm-hmm. And they'll go, well, how do I know what's the right decision? Vince, act like you own the place.
Yeah.
You're the owner.
Yep.
Make the right decision. If it's the wrong one,
call 911 first before you call me.
Right. But if it's the wrong one, we'll discuss it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Make the decision.
Yeah.
But the cameras are your friends, mm-hmm. because you don't need security because you get the cameras.
Yeah.
Luckily, people don't fist fight anymore, mm-hmm. or very rarely.
Very rarely, yeah.
So we don't have that problem. We used to have doormans in the old days. Mm-hmm. The bartender, everything behind the bar is there. They never have to come out from behind the bar.
Yep.
Their inventory is there. Their backup inventory is there. Their ice machine is there. Their sinks are there. Everything is done.
It's a very simplistic, beautiful design and display as well, too.
And the other thing that amazes me that other people haven't grasped or haven't copied is TVs are so cheap.
Yeah.
I don't know why in every bar and restaurant, TVs are just not everywhere. Mm-hmm. Because especially if you go out by yourself and you just want to go out and have a beer, or you just want to have a sandwich at the bar, and you don't really want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
You look at the TV. And everybody loves sports.
Yeah.
So we have sports on all the time.
I like watching 6 ABC News at Rockford Tavern.
Good luck with that if the bartender turns it on for you.
Exactly. But I love what you said. Like you empower your people to act like you own the place. And I've been very fortunate enough to, form a close relationship with a few of your people. So number one, like Mr. Drew Rivas, he's been, a
35 years.
Yeah, fantastic resource for Mary Kate and I. And, he's just a great guy to know because he treats that place like it's his own.
He does.
and he takes care of it. And then also switching gears slightly a little bit, but Joe Corbino, who was bartending for you for a while, shout out our boy Joe, nominated for best bartender trolley.
Great guy. Great kid, great family, great parents.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. Like you offer, like for someone who's in,
and we taught him. He didn't know how to bartend. We taught him.
No. Like you offer, something, just comparing it because he's sitting right here. Like Patrick bartended at like El Camino, and like Joe really gets to run the whole show, invite his friends, and like act like he owns the place sort of deal. Whereas like when Patrick was at El Camino, it's like, oh, this is, PDG's group. Like, sort of
we in fact hire people,
or at least that was my interpretation from it. Yeah.
We hire people to bring, when
you have to hire personalities. They're salespeople.
If I hired you to bartend, and I actually asked you and Mary Kate to come work for me before.
You actually offered me Rockford Tavern for sale. I'm not sure if you remember.
I offered that to you too, because you lived around the corner. But
should have taken it.
All bartenders are basically commission salespeople.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They are. So if you don't promote yourself, you're just losing money. So my people, because of social media, they're posting when they're on work because they are promoting themselves.
Yeah.
So they are basically my partners. They're commission salespeople.
Understood. And my entrepreneurial brain is just like thinking right now because, like I definitely get that. I have one complaint about DuPont Country Club, and it's just the cart girl situation. Number one, like the girls aren't trained on like golf cart etiquette or just like golf course etiquette. And then number two, like they're never out there. Like
lost money.
Easily, any 18 to 24-year-old female could be making $2,000 to $5,000 a weekend at DuPont Country Club. And I know your bartenders are pulling in, similar type of numbers if they're having, a good weekend sort of deal.
It's funny that you mentioned DuPont, and I played golf there for many years before I moved on. But I always thought at the farthest hole away from the clubhouse, if I grew up in that neighborhood in the Eden Ridge, I would have, on the other side of the fence, I would have a cooler selling soda, iced tea, lemonade, bottled water.
Bang, bang.
And there's nothing they could do about it because I'd be on the public street.
Mm-hmm.
And it still amazes me that some young kid has not thought of bringing a cooler there.
Murphy's Lemonade Stand coming to Country Club Boulevard this summer. So
it should be.
Why not?
Why wouldn't it be?
Why not?
I mean, there's never somebody out there selling drinks.
No.
It's ridiculous.
What's wrong with America these days? Where's the hustle? Where's the fight? Yeah.
Nobody comes and knocks on your door to shovel sidewalks anymore either.
No, I do it for free in the neighborhood. I shovel this whole dang neighborhood whenever it snows.
Good exercise.
At least the first time of the year.
Good exercise.
Yeah. Speaking of exercise, one thing that I really do appreciate about you, you get out and you get your steps. What has that done for your life? Is that something that's been recent all your life? Yeah.
I was a gym rat, loved basketball. Wasn't really good at it, but I loved playing. Played till in my 40s.
Have you given up the title your son could kick your ass?
Oh, no. He's got no shot. He wasn't raised like me. He's got zero shot. He could outwork me and outlift me and outrun me. He could do all that, outswim me.
Yeah.
But no.
You know some dirty old school tricks that would take him right down.
My dad was a city cop. we were raised a certain way.
Love it.
My son was not raised the way we were raised. And I wouldn't want anybody raised.
He didn't go to Christ Our King.
He did not go to Christ Our King. So, but walking, I tell everybody, is for your mental health.
Mm-hmm.
It does have another benefit of your waistline and your getting up and moving. But walking to me, especially during COVID, when my businesses were closed down, walking was
going through some tough times in your life during COVID.
And walking was a savior. So it allows you to think, allows you to breathe. I mean, as long as it's not raining, I'm walking.
Yep, I love that.
And for some reason, it's been windy this year. I don't know what that's.
It really has. Yeah, it definitely has. It definitely has.
And windy makes it a little bit colder.
A little bit colder, but I love seeing you get your steps in. And then the other thing that like I think you and I are similar, and your mind's always going 1,000 miles a minute. Walking slows you down. business done left and right. So,
well, when you own your own company, as you know, you're never off.
No.
Even if you're sitting on the beach, even if you're in a swimming pool with the kids, you're never off because you're always thinking. And to be successful, you constantly got to outthink the other guy.
Yep.
You got to, and I follow everybody, all the bars, restaurants. I'm always looking at what they're doing, not only in this state, but other states to see if I can bring anything new to Delaware. So you either lead or get run over.
Yep.
And I choose to lead.
Exactly. Yeah. Be the hammer, not the nail. So right now, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're down to 2.
Yes, I would say I'm semi-retired.
Semi-retired, and those both do pretty well. We've talked about those numbers before. So what is filling our time right now? We're going down to Texas to see our boy. What else is taking up Paul Ogden's time these days?
As you said in the beginning, I have a 98-year-old mother who's lived on her own till she was 95 and drove till 95. Unfortunately, had a fall, broke her back and broke her hip, and she's been in a nursing home for 2 years. So to fill my time, I go 5 days a week and visit her.
Love that.
I still move product. I still do all the ordering, all the inventory, all the books, all the banking. So I do all that. I still do social media for it. Still look at a lot of opportunities. I do some consulting.
That's what I was going to ask you about. Yeah, that's where I was heading with this question.
I do some consulting. And actually, I'd like to get more into that.
Yep.
But I've been doing my consulting for free. So
love
it. It's not that I don't need the money, but I'd rather
you need the karma. We all need the good karma.
By the way, my mother would not like to hear this, even though I was raised Irish Catholic. I am more karma-based than I am religion-based.
Okay.
In my philosophy.
Yeah.
I think
I see them as like, all part of the total package.
It is, but I truly do believe in karma.
Oh yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. So the like consulting like advisory piece. So yeah. This is something I plan to roll out, but we're just going to do it live right here. So would you like to accept a position? Would you be opposed to accepting a position on the Garmin Group Board of Trustees, Board of Associates? It's a working title.
Absolutely.
All right, cool. Sweet. Got you locked in there. So the first 2 names are Paul Ogden and Giuliano Messina. Cuts my hair at DuPont Street. So I think we'll do a little nice dinner sort of deal. And
are you paying?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, right.
100%. Yeah, we're going down to Bardea for it. So
all right.
We'll do it up. But so that like consulting piece we were talking about, your feelings on karma, and when you do reach that certain age, not saying you don't have necessarily like the time that you once had, but maybe like not necessarily the effort. Like, hey, I'm not chasing every thing that comes across my desk, sort of deal. So in turn, you're filling that time. It sounds like with some consulting work. How has that been for you?
It's fun. I like, and by the way, not just in the bar business, but I like consulting and helping younger guys get into business. Yeah, and telling them some of the pitfalls, because even if you go to business school and if you go to get your master's in business, the problem with all that is that's all textbook stuff. Yeah, they can teach you about this stuff in business, but they don't talk to you about people not showing up for work. They don't talk to you about how much trash costs. They don't talk to you about utilities going up, rent going up, personalities. They don't talk to you.
Fuck that guy. Don't put me on his shifts.
Everybody thinks that I don't have bosses. Well, I have every customer that comes in my bar is my boss. Yep. Every one of them.
I learned that from golfing. The caddy master, he said, every single member is my boss, and I'm the boss of all you guys, so don't mess up. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that truly, that's a misunderstanding people don't understand. Now, I have fired bosses. I have fired customers because if they're not good for the business and they're bothering other customers, they got to go.
It feels good when you finally make that,
they gotta
break.
Go.
Yeah. We fired clients before.
Because some customers think because they spend a couple bucks, they can tell you how you're going to dictate to run your business. No. So those ones have to be fired.
I love that. I love that. What's a Wilmington business or something in Wilmington? Obviously, you're born and raised here sort of deal. However you feel about the city, there's got to be at least one positive thing right now. What is the city, someone in the city, a business, et cetera, open-ended question.
About the city. I mean, our parks are tremendous. Mm-hmm. The pickleball court that they just put up by Park Plaza.
Yeah, I love it.
I mean, we've got the riverfront. We've got Rockford Park. I walk. So, I mean, we've got some great things. There's a lot going good in the city. Mm-hmm. Bad things happen everywhere, but the city's got a lot going on. I mean, since I got in the business, when I first got in business, there was no riverfront. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's still going good. The Blue Rocks are still going well. You got an IMAX movie theater. There's cranes going up in the city with skyline, high-rises, apartments.
Yeah.
So somebody's living in those buildings.
I caddied for a guy one time, and he was a real estate guy, and he said, you can tell that how a city's doing by how many cranes are in
up
there.
In the air.
Yep.
So, yeah, the city of Wilmington, I'm born and raised. My parents were born and raised. My dad was a police officer for 20 years. A brother of mine.
We back the blue here. Yeah, Patrick's father was Mary Kate's dad, Cole's dad.
My brother worked Mary Kate's father on the city for years. I mean, my brother Tim was a city police officer for 5 years before he went on to DEA. So, but I'm the black sheep guy in the bar business as opposed to being an officer. But that's a great career now. People, like when my brothers all started, when my father did it, it was a calling. It was not a great paying job, but it's a tremendous paying job with great benefits. Being whether you're a police officer or a firefighter, they have great benefits.
I would seriously consider being a firefighter. I have a cousin who's a firefighter in Baltimore. One of our Compass friends, he's a firefighter in Baltimore. And I love that schedule for what
one day on, 3 days off.
Mm-hmm.
That's their part-time gig.
Yes.
We both know it's dangerous and we need them. Mm-hmm. But it's a heck of a career. It's a career.
Yeah. I couldn't be a cop though. No way. That's not me.
That's not you? Mm-mm. That has to be in your blood a little bit.
What, cops?
Yes.
My dad was a Newcastle County officer for 1 year. Yeah. My grandfather was a career Marine, gunny sergeant. So he was on the drill field.
You get your mom's genes or something? You don't feel like fighting?
I fight. I get it rocking and rolling. I'm bullish on the city. I've definitely planted my roots here. Our flag here. We're buying a new house that your nephew's doing for us with his good friends. So we're investing in the neighborhood heavily, and we want to continue to make Wilmington a place to be somebody, and not just Wilmington the city, but Newcastle County as a whole. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot
of the state of Delaware as a whole.
One thing that I forgot while we were talking, because we're talking on the fly. I believe that they're moving the law school to downtown.
Yep.
One of the MBA buildings.
Yep. Law school.
They're also going to improve. They're also Insight's going to take over another building
downtown.
So I mean, you're going to add thousands of people to downtown Wilmington to get that happening again.
State of Delaware as a whole over the last 5 years, year over year, every year, a delta of 10,000 people moving into the state of Delaware.
Is that mostly northern?
A lot of Sussex.
Sussex, that's
a lot of Sussex, but it's in all three counties. It's a net positive. Yeah.
Well, the problem is in Newcastle County, we've run out of land to build. Mm-hmm. So we got to keep our
and we're not building affordable homes, except for the Garmin Group. Little plug here. The Garmin Group is bringing 38 new townhouses to Browntown between 7th and 8th, right off of Maryland Ave.
You finally got that deal done that everybody's been trying to get that deal done.
We're working on it. Yeah.
Because my buddy Frank Panuto was trying to get that deal done. Mm-hmm. I know the Casalis were trying to get that deal done.
Yeah.
So you're bringing it to the finish line.
We're bringing it to the finish line. Yep. Yeah. So we have a signed listing agreement advertising 38 townhomes for sale. Price point roughly $325, 3-bed, 2.5 bath, garage, roughly 1,700 square feet.
I believe my brother Tom, when he was with the mayor Przicki, was trying to help with that project for many years.
It's some sort of partnership with City of Wilmington.
Right.
So Somebody got it. I'll tell you off air.
My
dad
grew up on Maple Street, right around the corner from St. Hedwig's.
Yeah.
So I'm familiar with the
Mary
area.
Kate's Van Buren. Grew up on Van Buren.
I've been to Mary Kate's family home where she lived. Know exactly where it is.
Yeah. So. Sweet. Anything else you want to tell the folks?
No, I think this is my first time. I hope I didn't embarrass myself, but it was fun.
Cool. Awesome. Last few questions for you. Number one, Paul Ogden goes to what are the two ones you got left? Fairfax Tavern and Famous
Joe's and Brandmar Plaza.
And Brandmar. Paul Ogden goes to Famous Joe's or Fairfax Tavern. What is Paul Ogden getting to drink?
My friend Paul Ruggiero is going to kill me for saying this, but I'm a Miller Lite guy.
I knew it. Yeah, I knew the answer.
I would lie, but I'm a Miller Lite guy.
Yep. Yeah, I knew the answer. And how many beers do you advertise for sale?
We have over 100.
100.
But the thing is, what's the big thing is not beer, it's seltzers.
Yeah.
These White Claws,
that's all our generation is. The Surfsides.
Surfsides. They're, by the way, they're more expensive than any beer we can buy.
Yeah. What do you guys sell those for?
$6.
$6. That's cheap.
But you can get a Woodford Reserve for $5.
Yeah.
But the Surfsides, they cost us over $2 a can.
Yeah.
They're ridiculous.
Citizens Bank Park at $16.50, maybe even more.
But we can make them for you fresh.
I would try a homemade one. Yeah.
But I mean, every bar can make it for you.
Yeah.
It's Vodka and Club or vodka. The new thing though, and I heard you worked there, and they were ahead of the game. Tequila's on fire.
Yes. Yeah.
By far. My son's is minoring in sports physiology. And he likes doing everything clean. And apparently, I don't drink it, but tequila is the cleanest of the alcohols.
Yeah,
pure agave.
Tequila is the only one. Alcohol in itself is a drug, is a depressant. Tequila is the opposite. It's a riser. Yeah.
And the tequila's on fire.
Yep.
I mean, it's our number one. Espolon is our number one seller of alcohol.
Love that.
Jameson.
We have the biggest tequila selection in the state.
Nice. At Camino.
The guy, my buddy right down the street, has a huge tequila at
Anejo.
Yeah, they carry over 100. And Carl up at El Camino has a huge selection.
Yeah.
And they were ahead of the game, but it's on fire right now.
Yeah, tequila's where it's at. A lot of celebrity advertisements
and the
as well,
seltzers.
Too. Yeah. Love it. Coffee drinker?
No.
One
Coke a day.
One Coke a day.
Real Coke, the real thing.
What's the real Coke? What's the real thing?
The original.
Red can?
Coca-Cola red can. Not even a bottle can.
Not even a bottle.
It's only 140 calories.
Yeah. Paul Ogden, Friday night, sounds like we're going to Fieldstone. If we weren't going to Fieldstone, where could we find Paul Ogden on a Friday night in Wilmington?
Most of the times on a Friday night, I am picking up pizza from right up the street. I call it Chow still. It's still listed.
It's Chow.
It's Chow. I call it Chow. In my phone, it's Chow. Most Friday nights, I'm just picking up a pizza and chilling at home.
Love it. Yeah. What are we watching when we're chilling at home?
Well,
watching hoops right now?
I am watching hoops, but I'm a big Reacher fan.
Reacher? Okay.
Reacher. Yeah. I like a lot of those Netflix and Amazon Prime, so you can watch them all.
Nice. Yeah.
But
the binge. You binge it.
Maybe because of the cop in my family, I like all the Law and Orders. And
of course.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
And the FBI's.
How do you sleep?
Not well as you get older.
I had to stop watching Criminal Minds because I was like, this show's wild.
Yeah.
I'm having nightmares.
But, it's...
See that? Moss to a Flame. They love it out there.
Yeah, it's
Cole Cyber, you going to go get those people out there?
It's funny that you have that. So that I've been going to Jersey Shore for a long time, and the realtors down there do it all the time.
Yeah.
And you're the first guy I've actually seen it. I was just in Delray, Florida with my son for spring break, and they have...
If I could go back and do it, we put these up probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, and we bought this building October 2021. That would have been the first thing I did.
It's fantastic because they can window shop for multiple things.
Connor Tutzlow sold a $650,000 house off of someone who just walked up 2 weeks later under contract, $650. Yeah.
Why not? It's free.
It's free. Yeah, it's literally free. They cost us $180 each, and then to install it. Yeah.
Right.
But all right, cool. So we're getting a pizza. If we're going out, where do you see going out? Mary Kate saw you at Columbus Inn recently.
Columbus is always a go-to.
Yeah.
I like Culinaria.
Culinaria, where's that at?
It's in Bremar Plaza.
Okay.
I think it's one of the.
It's next to Diablo, right?
It's right next to it. I think
I've never been.
Fantastic.
Okay.
I'm a Buckley's guy.
Okay, never been. Yeah.
Pizza by Elizabeth's.
PB.
But mainly Fieldstone is
Love
my
it.
place.
Awesome.
Got the best, one of the nicest views in all Delaware.
I agree. I have a good friend out there, Mr. Andrew Blunden, young guy. We're just, friends of friends. And I got the privilege to play with him out there. I remember it fondly. I think I shot 36 on the back nine my first time seeing it. And I was like, this place is awesome.
Well, I will bring you out and I'll let you beat me up on the golf course.
We'll see. And then we've recently, at least maybe not recently, maybe your whole life, but you've been traveling a little bit. Where's one place Vince and Mary Kate should go to travel?
Well,
Dallas, Texas is on my list. I have a good friend who lives in Dallas. I want to go see Dallas.
SMU campus is unbelievable. When my son picked there, I couldn't understand it till I got there.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw it, fell in love with it like he did. It's just a beautiful
You don't
place.
remember like SMU in the 80s?
Oh, sure.
No? The Pony Express? Yeah.
They're the only team that got the death penalty. Mm-hmm. So they were cheating before cheating was legal.
Yeah.
So they were paying players back in the 80s.
Love it.
Eric Dickerson.
Oh, yeah.
And that crew.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he took any money. I'm just saying that they were doing it before, but they got the death penalty. But SMU is a great school, great campus.
Look at this. He brought them right into the office.
And
you can keep talking, yeah.
But big Jersey Shore.
Love it.
Like Jersey Shore. But
Where do we find you? The Princeton?
No, I'm a more Fred's guy.
Fred's
Tavern.
Nice. I like Fred's. Yeah.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah. What do we think about the Whitebriar selling to the Union League?
Yeah, the Union League bought it. Mm-hmm. I think it's awesome. They have a little place down there now.
Yep.
They also bought the Sam Barons. They bought the golf course.
I need to get out there, yeah.
Sam Barons was a dog track, and now it's beautiful.
Yes, yeah. We're organizing the Garmin Group Fall Invitational. Go down to my place in Sea Isle. I can sleep, 6 or 8. I'm sure we can find another house, get like 3 or 4 foursomes out there and play everywhere down the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, they got a lot of great courses.
Yeah. Stone Harbor's beautiful.
Yep,
yeah.
Stone Harbor's nice. They call it Wildwood Country Club. I don't know why, but that's right outside of Stone Harbor also.
Yeah.
But there's some nice tracks down there. But if I'm a big skier, so I like going out west. But if you and your wife wanted to take an unbelievable vacation, my number one suggestion would be to Breakers in Palm Beach.
Breakers in Palm Beach.
Nothing better.
Palm Beach like Florida?
Yep. Golf course on the grounds.
Okay.
It's not cheap, but if you wanted to take an unbelievable experience, I'm
down for that.
Recommend the Breakers.
I'm down for that. Final question for you. Should Vince Garman have bought Rockford Tavern for $50K is what you offered it to me in like 2020.
It would have been a steal. You should have taken it. And I wanted you to buy it because I wanted to continue to come there and I would help you grow that business. I just didn't want to do it anymore. I had too many places. But it would have been perfect for you. You could have got your young friends to come in and see you. You could have got your young friends to bartend. You would have made a lot of money.
Now, here's the thing, because we're just kicking around business ideas. So I came up with that like DuPont Country Club idea. Like, I would love if you or some operator was just like, hey, I'm going to handle your cart girls for you, sort of deal. Train them up. We'll have our own cart sort of deal. We'll just partner up, whatever. So I'm not much of a drinker. I'm a lightweight. I've always been a lightweight sort of deal.
Can't like your own product.
No, yeah, exactly. So here's a concept for you. Not sure how you feel about it, but I'm a marijuana guy. Like in terms of opening up a marijuana bar, thoughts there?
I'm not a marijuana guy. Never have been. My family's all in law enforcement.
Yeah.
So I've never even tried it. I'm a little nervous what it's going to do to the industry because there's no way to detect how high somebody is, like if they're impaired driving.
Yeah.
The guy who's going to get rich is not the guys that have the stores or the growers. The guy that's going to get real rich off the marijuana industry is the guy that's going to invent how to test somebody, how high they are when they're behind the wheel.
Yeah.
That's the guy who invents that test. That the guy is going to be a billionaire.
So that's what we need to work on.
That's what you need to work on.
Patrick, add that to your to-do list, please, and thank you.
That guy that can figure out that test, just like the blow test with the
breathalyzer.
Breathalyzer. Mm-hmm. The guy who invents that to do marijuana, he's going to be the next billionaire.
Love that. Well, hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another exciting episode of Life on the
How does anybody see this?
See this?
Yeah. How can I tell people?
You guys can find us wherever you guys are watching your podcast. So on podcasts through Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube is the main thing. And then also everybody says, hey, Vince, I see you love listening to the podcast already. And I'm like, do you listen to the podcast? And they go, I watch your Instagram reels. And I'm like, fair enough. Yeah,
so where can I repost this when it comes out?
We'll tag you in everything. Okay. So we'll tag this on Facebook. We'll tag this on our Instagrams. If you guys are looking to get in touch with Mr. Paul Ogden, be sure to stop by Famous Joe's Brandmar Plaza, Fairfax Tavern, just outside of Fairfax off of Murphy Road. So Paul, it was an absolute pleasure talking with you. Appreciate you coming on. And, appreciate our friendship. So thanks, guys. Love you.